Hi, everybody. Corey Weathers here. We, Team Weathers, are here at the AUSA conference in Washington, D.C., and I had a great opportunity to come up here for a second year in a row and see the amazing expo that they have representing all these really amazing companies that make really cool technological advances in warfare and just really cool stuff. And so this year we decided to bring all of Team Weathers to the AUSA conference, because if we're going to talk about the future of what the Army is going to look like, then we thought, what better way to do that than to show military kids and military families as a whole what that looks like and let them experience that. We've been talking a lot about sacred spaces being a multi-sensory experience that is life-changing, that helps couples and now families be able to understand each other from an entirely different perspective. So today could not have been more multi-sensory, with being able to touch things and see things and try things out. And it really opened a lot of really great conversation and dialogue with us as a family. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm actually going to hand it over to Matt, where he's going to actually interview the kids and see what their day was like and what their takeaway was. So this is all about how was the AUSA convention on day one. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to step out and Matt's going to take over.
Or you can switch. You can actually just sit on the bed. Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. It has been a crazy, fun, adventuresome day at AUSA. If you have never attended the conference, I highly recommend it. It's my first time being here. And so I was able to not only see a bunch of stuff that I found familiar, and it's been a long time since I was able to get hands on some of that cool technology, but also was able to see a lot of new, innovative technology that made me feel really good. And I say that simply because when you're downrange and you see stuff that you know that can be improved on, and then you see that people have taken those improvements and they've actually put them to use and they're integrating them, it gives you a lot of hope for what the future is. And it is just massive. And so one of the reasons that we brought the boys up here is we always talk about in our family casting vision. And part of that, if you've never heard that phrase or you're looking to see if it's recording loud enough?
Just want to make sure it was still recording.
Okay. So, there's a scripture that says, without vision, the people perish. And so it's really tough to be a military family. And one of the great ways that you can actually cast vision for your family is to help them understand the larger thing that you're all a part of. So when we say Team Weathers, it really is, it started several years ago, but it's our way to involve the boys and help them get a picture for how big national defense is and how many people are a part of it and how many people are very well invested in it and how much they spend that time. So without further ado, I would like to talk to them and see what their takeaway was on the day. So who wants to go first? All right, Jackson. Okay.
Youngest first.
Sit right here, bud. Okay. So Jack's up. Say hey to everybody.
What's up?
What's up? All right. So Jack, what were you, when you first knew you were coming, what were you really excited about seeing?
Probably the tanks.
Why the tanks?
Well, I just like tanks because they shoot and they're really cool and big and all.
I know. And then when you start looking at the treads and you get hands on, they're like so super awesome. You play World of Tanks, so you get to see that. And so you feel like you already have some knowledge about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So was it cool to get to learn a little bit more?
Definitely.
Definitely. What do you think was like one of the coolest things you got to learn about tanks today?
Well, the coolest thing is, well, actually, I don't think I learned anything.
What did you get to touch and climb?
Well, I had this tank simulator.
Uh-huh.
It was really cool, but even though it moved me, so I wanted to move.
So you weren't able to drive in the tank simulator?
No.
But I bet in a regular tank simulator it lets you drive. So you were able to see, how many different tanks or different kind of vehicles were you able to see today? How many do you think?
A lot.
A lot. So absolutely a lot. So, okay. So you know that I have ridden in armored vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you think about Dad being in an armored vehicle and you were able to get hands-on today and even sit in some of them and get to see some of the weapon systems, what did you think about? Or did you think about anything? Or were you just so in the moment that you thought it was cool?
Daddy said you saw a talk today.
Yes, that was another thing.
Tent?
You remember we went into the tent and I was telling you that when I go out to the field, I live and I work in a tent just like that?
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember seeing that? Was that a surprise? I mean, did you... Not a surprise?
It was a surprise.
Had you ever pictured that in your mind that I was working in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you have any other thoughts beyond just getting to see it? Could you picture me being in that tent when I am out in the field?
And what was your favorite
Yes.
thing that you got to see today?
Besides tanks.
Or what was it about the tanks that you loved the most? Your just coolest takeaway today?
Probably the tank simulator.
Probably the tank simulator. Why?
It was fun.
It was fun.
It
All
was
right.
fun.
Do you have any more that you'd like to add?
No.
You did get to see some pretty cool guns though.
Oh, yeah.
Which ones did you take? Which ones did you think was really cool?
Well, there's just one. Then it's like a machine gun. I love machine guns
Oh, okay.
because they just fire so fast.
They do. They just fire as fast
Sounded
as
like
possible.
just
Napoleon
jump up.
Dynamite.
You could just grab one.
All right, thanks. All right, Jack loves the tanks and the guns. All right. Next up, Aiden, the big kid. All right, don't break my leg.
Whoa.
No, you can just sit right there on the leg. Whoa, hey, wow. All right, just moving right in, aren't you?
Yep.
All right. So, what did you get to see today?
I did see a lot of stuff. Guns were mainly one. I also saw a lot of little booths that were little nonprofit organizations.
Oh, well, tell me about those.
Well, obviously, one of them was the Red Cross, and it was interactive where you got to take this bag and you got to fill it with little supplies and write a little note
That's awesome.
and send it to a random person in the hospital,
Ah.
in the Red Cross hospital, and they would receive it.
So this is, when you're talking about AUSA as a conference and coming here as a family, it's not just going to see cool guns or cool tanks. There's actually some other different things here that you can see that people are doing. Do you remember even that mask
Yeah, I
and
remember
the
that mask.
breathing respirator? Do you remember signing your name on the wall?
Yes, I remember that.
What wall was that, and what was that
It
organization?
was the tags wall and
Taps.
taps. Oh,
TAPS.
taps.
That's all right.
Taps thought it was tags. Alrighty, so it's the Taps wall, and their organization. They help families whose service members died.
I know. That's really awesome. So when we were signing our name on the wall, there was a company that for each signature that was on the wall was going to donate $10 to TAPS.
I
It's
didn't
pretty
know that.
cool. Yeah, absolutely. And did you know that a lot of the families that your mom and I have worked with have received services from TAPS?
That's cool.
Yeah, so it really comes full circle, and you're able to see some really neat things.
There's more stuff behind the military guns and stuff.
Absolutely. It's
There's
a huge
there's
organization.
small things that are right behind it that
Yeah.
are really important.
Yeah. So remember we sat in a family forum today. Do you remember that at the very end while you guys were making
Yeah.
paper airplanes?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember anything that they talked about?
I do remember them talking. I did catch a lot of the conversation, though.
Yeah.
Mostly the conversation was about what teens and children feel during deployments.
Yeah.
And I do remember it saying that during the deployments, the longer your service member is away, then that's kind of more of a risk of something. Not
Yeah.
like a disease or anything, but like...
Well, I mean, I think it makes it kind of strains the relationship. and
Yeah.
So I remember seeing one thing on there that said it said that it's good to have frequent communication.
Which is
okay?
what we did.
Yeah. So if you and I, like if I deploy again, and you and I needed to have frequent communication, what are some things that you and I could talk about, and how would you like that? What would you like that communication to look like?
Well, I would love for it to be face-to-face and
Yeah.
video so you can always see them.
Yeah.
I'd love for it to be definitely audible.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to have to try and do sign language on it? Okay.
Or no.
All
No
right.
reading their lips.
Yeah. So, but what would you like to maybe talk about? What matters to you for you and I to stay close?
Talking about not only your feelings, but about what's going on around you.
Oh, so you would kind of want to know a little bit about what's happening in my world. And it doesn't have to be like secret stuff. It can just be like what I ate in the chow hall that day, or if I went to work out, or if I saw some cool stuff. Like, I don't know, like on one deployment, it snowed 3 feet in 2 hours. And that would be a cool fact, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd go,
I'd
man.
love snow like that at home.
Yeah, so you'd be able to kind of get a picture of what was going on with me. And you know what would be important for me to hear from you is what you're learning in school and who your friends are in school and how you feel about those kind of things.
Yeah.
Because that's important to me, that you're making friends and enjoying friends.
So basically, pretty much your general area and my general area.
Exactly. So it matters that we talk about what each of our worlds looks like, right? Okay, so that's like, man, we've learned a ton of stuff and it's just day one. So I've had a blast. Have you had fun?
Oh, yeah.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow? And don't say a simulator. Even though I know that's true. I know you're going to be excited about a simulator.
I'm looking forward to seeing some more companies.
Yeah?
Such as robots. There were definitely a lot of robots there.
Okay, now that is a really cool thing. So you're very interested in Legos.
The mechanics and moving objects, vehicles.
So when you saw that, what did you have any thoughts like, oh man, here's a whole different thing I could get involved in a whole different way I could help the country that I didn't think of?
Yeah. I saw the robots and I'm like, you know what? Those robots are pretty ingenious because I remember seeing this one that had 8 cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Give a 360 view.
Mm-hmm.
And then it could easily climb up stairs.
No.
And it could grab stuff. They made it so it was like holding a sign.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
I'm thinking you just want one so it could go up and grab food and then bring it back downstairs. I think that's probably what you want a robot for.
No.
No?
I'd probably use it to pinch Jack.
Okay. Hey, but you know what's really cool about those robots is they made those so that people wouldn't have to go to places that are dangerous.
I remember seeing a slogan for a robot company that said, going into harm's way so you don't have to.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's so wonderful that people are putting their brains to things so that we can actually keep people safe. So that we actually don't have to put people into harm's way.
Yeah.
And as a military,
we can save men in our nation.
Yeah, and as a military kid, how much does it matter to you, or do you even think about people putting their brain to things to make sure that I'm safe when I go downrange?
Means a lot.
Why?
Because I value you. I value our army because I know they probably have relationships.
Yeah.
And I know they want to come back home safe and sound from deployments and stuff.
Yeah.
And with those new robots doing their job for them, then I'm like, that's saving us a lot of trouble, and it's saving us men and lives.
Yeah.
Which means men can go back to their families.
And women, because we do have
women too.
Yeah, and women too. Yeah. We got to remember that. Yeah.
Sorry.
So.
You're good.
Yeah.
It also means a lot to me, but there's one thing I'm kind of worried about.
Yeah.
It's that the robots will end up taking over the whole job,
and
the men will be kicked out, and they won't have any jobs, and they won't be able to earn money.
Well, do you want to know why that's never going to happen?
Because there's people who still need things there.
Well, here's a really simple example. Do you know what's the difference between Do you know the difference between right and wrong? You know why you know that? Because you're a human. Okay? And that's something that humans bring to every aspect of the way that all of this works. When we're talking about weapons and when we're talking about robots, is there's a human element that always makes the call as to whether or not we're going to use that certain weapon, or we're going to use that robot, or how we're going to make that. So there's always a human involved, because humans have what we call ethics and morals. And when we use our morals to determine our ethics, which is the way that we relate to one another in a right way, when we do that, we are still in charge. And that's something that the United States Army and the military and the Department of Defense very much values, that we do everything we do ethically and morally and legally, so that we make sure that we're not only doing right by our values, but also by the values of other people. And that matters a huge deal. And that's one of the reasons that I am key in the military, is that I'm a voice for my commander as a chaplain to make sure that the decisions we make are ethical and moral decisions.
Especially you.
and especially me. So I have to make sure that my life's good so that I have that voice with somebody else. So that's why we never have to worry. I mean, I watch Terminator and I get scared about Skynet sometimes, but when it comes down to it, there's always a human making the decision. And that you should feel very good about that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the last question that I have. After day 1 of AUSA and all the things you've seen, how do you feel about, besides being sad if I have to leave again, how does that reshape the way that you think about me having to go do my mission?
Well, it makes me feel proud because I can actually say that my dad has ridden in futuristic army vehicles,
Yeah.
so I kind of have bragging rights.
Yeah.
And because I know that you're protecting our country.
Yeah. And did you see how hard they're working to protect me? Absolutely. Did you put your hand on some of those vehicles? That's some heavy lead, isn't it, my man? So they do a really good job. Tomorrow we're going to go into some more vehicles. They had one that had a Red Cross on there, and that's a medical vehicle. We're going to take a look at that. And
Medic
we'll also
tank.
go look at some more nonprofits and see how what people are doing to help military families. Cool? All right, so signing off, Aiden. All right, Corey's back in the saddle here.
So here's what I'll say for closing, and that's just, this whole sacred spaces idea that Matt and I started a long time ago was really about trying to understand each other better and visualize the other person's world and visualize each other's experiences. And when I went, magic. And so when I went on the trip with the SECDEF, I worked really hard to put myself in his shoes and try to experience in a multisensory way as many things as possible that was in his world so that I could understand him better. And the AUSA conference today especially was really an amazing opportunity for the boys to touch things and feel things and smell the metal and really be interactive. So thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to do another one tomorrow where it's going to be a little bit different perspective, but we definitely wanted to give the kids a chance to talk about what their experience was like. So have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye. Team Weather's out.